Hey guys, welcome back to the Profound Podcast. My name is Lexi.
And my name is Jake, and we have a confession to make. Last episode, I think way back like a month ago, we said we are going to have one more episode before we get married. Well, we're married. Sorry about it.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, things got so crazy the week leading up to our marriage, the week leading up to our wedding. And I don't know why we ever thought that we were going to be able to do a podcast that week.
We were naive.
We were children. But yeah, we're married. You're Lexi Nash.
I'm Lexi Nash.
And you live here, and it's sick.
And it's awesome.
I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, we're just going to talk today about our wedding. We're going to talk about our honeymoon. And we're going to talk about, it's been a little bit over 3 weeks of being married. So just what it's been like so far and what we've learned, because we have so much wisdom in 3 weeks.
In the 3 weeks of marriage, yeah.
And yeah, just maybe what's like surprised us, what's been like unexpected. So yeah, let's first talk about our wedding.
Yeah.
Our wedding.
It was amazing. I feel like people leading up to the wedding, everybody said like, you're going to, something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to, and just be okay with it. Just be okay. Like something's going to go wrong. And I feel like nothing really went wrong.
No. I mean, there were things that we heard about on the back end.
True.
That we were completely unaware of during the wedding, which is fantastic. But, shout out to Adrian getting stung by a bee. One of Jake's groomsmen got stung by a bee/wasp/ some stinging bug on his hand.
During the ceremony.
During our ceremony, and played it off like so well. Like nobody knew. Only people that were directly looking at him and saw him like turn to another guy and be like, I just got stung by a bee, which is like crazy. I just had no idea. So there's like things that like happen like that that we heard about later, and we're like, wow, well, I didn't know that. I had no idea. So yeah, it was pretty seamless. I will say that, for all my engaged girls out there, or boys if you want to be involved in wedding planning, but the majority really don't. Just like preparedness and like thinking through all the little details before like saved us so much stress and like just made the day just like seamless. And I actually really enjoyed wedding planning, and I mean, towards the end, I will say it did get pretty stressful. Like, I did a lot of things myself. Like, I did all of our flowers myself, and I did a lot of our decor myself, and just like, we didn't have like a planner or anything like that. We had a day of coordinator, which was super helpful, but there was a lot that I like took on, and so my stress was like, oh, if this doesn't happen or if this fails, like it's gonna be my fault. And so, yeah, just like really thinking through like, I don't know, just day of details that can sneak up on you. And like, I'm so glad we remembered. So if you want to know what those were for us, you can reach out to me. I feel like we don't need to talk about all of those, but yeah, just like being super prepared and detail oriented leading up made the like logistics of the wedding just like fly by. And like the day of, like, I was just, like, pretty much, running the ship. Like, we had a ton of help and a ton of people, friends and family, who came to help us set up. And I was just like, you there, you can do this, you can do that. Like, there was a place for everything, like, I knew exactly what needed to go where, what it needed to look like. So it made the day before set up, like, really awesome. So that's just from, like, a logistical, like, it is a huge event. It's the biggest event you will ever probably throw in your life. So, like, the logistics of the, like, event planning, I feel like was day of, seamless, leading up, pretty stressful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, it kind of paid off. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably why we've had, like, 3 people ask you to help plan their wedding since we got married.
Which I'm down. I thought it was so fun. Yeah, I think just, like, with how it all, like, my vision and how it all came together, like, was just beyond what
yeah,
it was just perfect. Like, it was so cool to have it all set up. Like, I'm pretty like artsy creative person, and to have it all set up, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted it to look like, was like pretty cool.
It was stunning. Everybody that was there, you knew what it was like. It was perfect. Um, Here's something we haven't done. Obviously we didn't talk to each other until, the ceremony, and then the whole day like flew by. So why don't you tell me like what your day was like? Try to remember back that day, like what you were thinking on, from the morning until the end of the night, and then I'll do me, and then we'll go from there.
What do you mean we haven't done? We've talked
Well,
about that.
like how are you feeling
Oh,
like,
okay, I see what you're
throughout the
saying.
day? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I could not sleep. We had like the girls and I tried to, be creative with to make us sleepy. Like my maid of honor made like the sleepy mocktails on TikTok of like I don't even remember what was in it. Honestly, cherry juice or something, and it had like natural melatonin. And we tried to like use that to sleep. I did not sleep at all. I think I woke up at 1. I slept from like 11 to 1, and then I was up until the day started. So that was fun. I was just like so, I don't know. I was kind of had like moments in the night of like, oh my gosh, I need to tell this person about this and this. And I don't know. It was like more of that just
Hmm.
in the like planning side of me. It was like anticipation and excitement too.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was like last minute, like, oh my gosh, we didn't do this, or we have to remember to do this, like those kind of things. So yeah, I woke up super early and I was just kind of like laying in bed, trying to wait till the sun came up. And then we got up. I'm like trying to even remember. It's so hard to remember for me. Um we got up and one of the first things we did was the girls and I stayed at the venue the night before. There's like a little cabin at the venue. So we all stayed the night there before, which was super fun. So we didn't ever leave after the rehearsal dinner. And so in the morning, it was like in the mountains in this like valley. Like it was like so beautiful. We like went on a walk in the morning and it was just funny. Like I was talking to my maid of honor, Sydney, recently, and she was like, we were talking about all my outfits throughout the day. Like I had like my cute like bride jammies, and then we like went on this walk, and I put on sweatpants, a sweatshirt, a cowboy hat, and I was eating a protein bar, and she like thought that was so funny. And then we got back, and I put on my like cute like getting ready robe. Like it was like so many different looks throughout the day. So, anyways, we went on a walk, and that was really cool. It was on a horse ranch, so there was like horses running around in the morning, and we went into the reception hall again and like looked at it one more time in the mornings. That was cool. And then we went back, and my mom brought up some coffee and bagels for us for breakfast, and then we kind of just hung out. One thing that my bridesmaids did for me, which was really really cool, was just in efforts to keep myself like present every hour or like pretty much every time that somebody would remember to ask me, I would have to tell them what my five senses were in that moment. So, and they wrote them all on my phone so I can go back and see like, oh, at 9:30 I was smelling my coffee and I was feeling like I had most of the feeling was like nervous sweaty palms. That was like what I felt all day. So that was cool. I feel like that was really like helped me like stay in the moment as much as possible. And then yeah, I just got my hair and makeup done. We had artists that came up to the venue, so my mom and I did that. And then it was pretty much showtime. We did the bridesmaid's first look. Jake and I did a first touch and a first prayer. So I like came up behind him and just like had my arms around him. And I literally cried like a child.
Yeah, we were weeping. It was really cool.
Yeah. Were you?
I cried a little bit. You were
I was like
gone.
a mess. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it was really special. We didn't see each other, and there's a lot of pictures. Like if you guys want to see pictures of our wedding, we have some on our Instagram. Follow us. Jake C. Nash and Lexi D. Nash.
He'll probably accept. I'm a little bit more like
I'll accept you.
well, yours is public.
That's true.
That's true.
I just
have a
or
smaller,
JakeNash.music. Follow that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was really special. I didn't see you until the aisle. I saw your sleeves. I saw your wrists.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I didn't see you until you walked down the aisle. It was really funny at that point because I saw your dad right after our first
Oh
touch.
yeah.
He comes up to me and he was like, "How was that?" And I was like, it was pretty special. He's like, that could have been anybody. And I was like, dude, you're right. Like that could have been anybody.
Can you imagine how
Ye-
funny that would be if that was like, I don't know, one of your guys or something?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't be able to see their hands, but
yeah.
yeah, that's like that could
That
have
was
been
funny.
anybody.
He was just trying to break because both of us were just so nervous at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird. I like wasn't I was pretty nervous before I saw you, and then after I saw you, I was like really chill. Like I was just like
Same.
super, I don't know, I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready now. Like it was kind of crazy. So we had like it was like downpouring rain like 15 minutes before our ceremony, and like neither of us even for a moment like had like panic or stress
Hmm.
or anything. Like I just like for some reason knew that it was going to be fine and our ceremony was going to be outside and the rain was going to pass. Like I just didn't even for a second like stress about it, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so we did that and then the girls went back to the cabin and we did the girls prayed over me, which was really cool. And then yeah, I went up to the reception hall and Jake was outside so we didn't see each other and I remember like looking at my mom before we walked down the aisle and I just remember both of us saying like I am in so much shock right now. Like I feel like shock. Like that's like the main emotion. She's like, yeah, I do too. Like
Hmm.
which I didn't even cry walking down the aisle, which I think was kind of crazy. I was like for sure gonna cry. I think like our first prayer, I got a lot of tears out, which was good. And I had been crying pretty much all day.
Yeah.
And then when I was walking down the aisle, it was literal shock of like, what is going on? I was at a really long walk. It was like a really long distance
Dude, it
from,
was like a quarter mile.
yeah, from,
It wasn't, but it was like 150 yards
it was a
probably.
far walk. Yeah. So we're just going along. We're just chatting. My dad and mom walked me down the aisle. We're just chatting and, oh, this is so pretty. There's so many people here. And then like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm walking down the aisle right now. Like it was so weird. I almost felt like I was at somebody else's wedding
Mm.
a lot of the day, which is kind of weird. I don't know what that means.
It was weird. It was a
Yeah.
weird feeling.
I don't know. I would say that like just like if you're planning a wedding, I think I went in with really, really high expectations of like how the day was gonna feel and like how well I was gonna remember it. Like in full honesty, I don't remember much of the day at all.
Me neither.
And if I think really hard, like as I'm like going through every little, part of the day in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, and then we did this, and then we did this. But like overall, the day just felt like a giant blur. And I thought I was gonna be the exception because everybody says that. Everybody says the day's gonna fly by and it's gonna be a blur. But for some reason, I was like, no, not for me.
Not
Like,
for me.
I'm gonna be super present. And I feel like I was present in the moment, but did the day go so fast? It was the fastest day I've ever experienced in my life.
Hmm.
And also, like, a lot of the times, like, lights were on, but no one was home kind of thing.
Facts.
Like, I was talking to people, like, I don't remember what I talked about with anybody. Like, I don't remember. It was just, especially during the reception with all the people around and the
Yeah.
music, and like, it was truly sensory overload in the best way. Which doesn't take away from the day or anything, but I would just say, like, if you're planning your own wedding, or if you also have that experience, like, it's okay. And maybe just like take your expectations down in that. Because you might be
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised and maybe you have a different experience than I did, but you know, to think that it's gonna be like you're gonna remember every detail of the whole day, like I'll tell you now, you like probably won't. And that's okay.
Hmm.
That doesn't change the fact that it was an amazing day and it was like so perfect and it was so beautiful and it was the best day of our lives. But it was a blur
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, and I think that like kind of goes back to what we were talking about last time, where like planning for a marriage, not a day, because like I thought the coolest part was like yeah, everything was amazing, and like I I remember you walking down the aisle. I remember I cried a lot.
Hmm.
and you know, just everything. Like I remember a lot. But like the best part was getting in the truck to drive away.
Mm-hmm.
Like because we were like, man, we're driving to our hotel, and we're like, I'm not sad that it's over.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy that we get to start life.
Yeah.
You know, like it was great. And honestly, there was a lot of relief when it was over because we
Yeah.
had spent so much time planning it
There's
and
a lot of
stuff.
relief.
And we're like, oh my gosh, we can finally relax. Whoever thought of the idea of a honeymoon, so good. But you know, it's okay that it went fast, and it's okay that like it was sensory overload, because that's not the part that we were super excited about.
Yeah, I think that part of my expectation was like honestly from the world and
Mhm.
from society putting the wedding day on this pedestal of like the wedding day is just like every little girl's dream, and it's like the moment that you're the bride and you're the center of attention, and it's like this thing that like, you know, all pretty much most girls who had, you know, loved princesses and all of that stuff as a little girl, it's like the peak of their existence kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I think I low key carried a little bit of that like society expectation of my wedding day into it a little bit, when I knew in my head that I was more excited for the marriage. And when we were driving away, I truly felt that.
Mhm.
But there were moments in the night where I was like, oh my gosh. Like I remember we like sat down to eat. We were like, what is happening right now? Like
It was insane.
it was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't even like see straight right now. This is insane. Um and so I think that yeah, just I think I carried in high expectations, and when I say high expectations, I don't mean for how the day went, because the day itself exceeded my expectations
sure.
in every way. I'm saying for like how it was going to feel as like a, you know, in from first person, how it was going to like feel. I felt like the day was going to last forever, and it was going to feel long, and it was going to be like every single second I'm just like so, you know, in it.
Invested
Yeah.
and emotional, and
Yeah.
there was that for sure, but like yeah, it was definitely blink and hours go by.
Yeah, exactly. And it, you know, you think about it, it's like so much happens in the span of like 6 hours. Like it is on to the next, like boom, boom, boom. And we had like an earlier send off because we wanted to, and we wanted to get to our hotel, and we wanted to have a sweet night together. And, you know, we had a far drive and everything. We wanted everyone to get home safe. So I think that, you know, some people have their party go until like 1 a.m., but we didn't do that. Um, but yeah, I would say that like I did have a few moments in the day where I was like, "Oh my gosh, this does not feel like how I thought it was going to."
Mhm.
You know?
And I feel like big things like that rarely ever do feel the way you think they're gonna feel.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when we got engaged, it didn't really feel like how I thought it was gonna feel.
Mhm.
Or when I graduated college, or when I started a job, or like whatever, like big things like that, it always seems to be different than your expectations, and that's okay,
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So, um, yeah, just, you know, if you're about to get married, just go in and enjoy the day. Like, do your best, and don't be so hard on yourself to try to like. I think we were really like, we want to just be so present, and then it is truly sensory overload.
Yeah.
And it was just like the morning of was crazy for me. It was like I was so nervous, and
Yeah.
like literally I did not sleep at all. And I went golfing with my buddies just to the driving range beforehand, and I couldn't hit a ball straight because I was just, dude, I was so nervous, and like
Yeah.
um
Were you able to eat breakfast at Silver Girl?
I had to choke it down for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to choke it
Shoot.
down.
I ate good. I don't know what it was. I could eat for some reason.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, then I got up there, and then we like, you know, we had a sick place where the guys were staying, and we had pool and darts and stuff, and we were just hanging out, and
Yeah.
and then yeah, I got nervous standing waiting for you. But then I saw you, and it was just like tunnel vision. Like
Yeah.
once the ceremony started, like I forgot we had like
Mhm.
160 almost people at our wedding.
Yeah.
I forgot they were there.
Yeah, I did too. We were just like locked on each other.
Yeah. So, and that's
Which is
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our day. It was perfect. It was amazing. It was fast. It was one day.
Mm-hmm.
We've been married for 3 weeks and it's been great. And this episode, we're just kind of getting caught up. So
Yeah.
the next thing after the wedding day is the wedding night. And a preface, we're going to do a whole episode on sex. Like that's probably going to be, I don't know if you guys
Our dryer's singing to us.
We have a Samsung dryer and it sings this crazy long song when it's done.
It's like, oh my gosh, okay, it's done.
Yeah, so if you hear that, that's what it is. But yeah, we're gonna do a whole episode on sex because like it's a taboo topic, but it's also really important. And it's
This is a marriage podcast.
This is a marriage podcast. We're gonna talk about marriage things. So that'll be next time. So tune in for
maybe we'll give like a quick summary of our wedding night.
But a quick summary of our wedding night.
Yeah.
We stayed at a really cool hotel in Fort Collins, Colorado, and it was just amazing. Like I feel like when we were there, I didn't feel nervous going into the hotel. I didn't feel.
If you don't know, we waited till marriage.
We waited till marriage, and guys, like, let me tell you, purity's hard. We did it for like a year and a half.
More than that.
Almost 2 years, maybe.
I can't even think about how long we did.
We dated for a year and then we were engaged for 9 months. So
okay.
Yeah, a year and 9 months. And it was hard. Purity's hard. It's not fun.
It doesn't make sense in the moment.
No,
really.
But it was so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It was so worth it. Like that night became tied. We became one. Like there is a real spiritual soul tie that happens when you have sex. And a little bit like about my story, like I was not a virgin before we got married.
And I wasn't either.
And neither was Lex. And so we had soul ties with other people and that sucks, you know, and we will always have that. But there is no, when you have sex in marriage, like there's no shame.
Yeah.
There's no like, afterwards feeling like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Or like, was that the right thing to do?
Yeah. Do I call him?
Yeah. It was like,
is he gonna call me back?
And we thought it was going to be awkward. After a year and 9 months, it was beautiful and intimate and like, and I felt, I saw you differently. I see you differently now than I did 3 weeks ago.
For sure. Yeah, I think that was cool. Like, we were just so like overwhelmed with like, this was how God intended this to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've only experienced how, the enemy wants it to be, and how, we've only experienced the act of sex in a broken form. And so, for God to like bring us both to a point, with him, that we were willing to commit that area of our lives and be like, you know what? I don't get this. I don't see why I would withhold pleasure from myself to wait until I'm married to somebody to have sex with them. Like, that doesn't really make sense. Society says otherwise. Like, everybody around is saying that's, why would you do that? Like, why would you marry somebody that you haven't had sex with? Like, you got to test drive the car before you buy it, kind of thing. But like that night, we were just like, oh my gosh, this is how like God designed it to be. Yeah. It was so freeing. It was so redemptive of our past. It was so just like, we just felt obviously closer than we ever had before, but it just was like so cool to be like firsthand, we get it. Like we get why the Bible instructs you to wait until marriage. Like, it makes sense now. Like,
yeah. And that's not to say that like, oh, because I understand that there's people watching this that like don't follow Jesus and don't get it. And like, trust me, I was at a point where I didn't get it either. Like, and it's not because like, we're not saying, oh, sex in marriage is just better. That's not the reason why you wait for marriage. It's not that sex in marriage is, or like sex outside of marriage is bad. It's that it's good. It feels really good in the moment, but then there is this tie with this person that you have no obligation to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, when you have sex with somebody and then you break up, it's like a divorce. Like it crushes you. And so, like, to have waited and now I know that, like, Lexi is going to be my wife until the day that she dies, or the day that I die, or the day that Jesus comes back. There is no shame.
There's safety.
There is safety. There is comfort.
We're not performing.
There is not a performance.
Yeah.
If, like, it's just, it makes sense. It really, really does. And I didn't see it before. And there was times, like, and we didn't do purity perfectly, but, like, and there was times where we were like, this is so dumb. Like, I don't want to do this anymore, but we waited, and it was worth it. So if you're out there, if you're engaged or dating or single, pursuing purity, like, it's worth it. I promise you.
Yeah. And also, like, just because you've screwed up doesn't mean that you can't start now.
Yeah. There was so much redemption.
Yeah, for sure. And, like, we both unfortunately, like, made decisions to not be walking, like, from a, factual standpoint. We weren't walking in to marriage as virgins, and we knew that. We had, communicated that before. But there was so much redemption in that area for both of us, from the point that happened to the point that we were at our wedding night, that it felt like we were virgins. It felt like this brand new thing, like this uncharted territory. Like, there was just so much redemption of a broken past for both of us, and bad choices, and, being intimate with people who we shouldn't have been, like, unfortunately. But like, it felt like our wedding night. It felt like it was a brand new thing. And so that was really cool too.
Yeah. So if you have messed up, like, in the past, and don't ever believe that you're too far gone, or, like, your mess is too much for Jesus, because it's not, and he makes all things new.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we're gonna talk more about sex later, just because it is such a huge topic, and we have really benefited from hearing about sex from good sources, credible, people who are following Jesus talking about sex, because there's so much information in the world about sex that is not from God and is from the enemy and from Satan himself. Like, it's so not reliable, anything like that. So we want to just add to that pool of information that is credible, that can build people up, that can encourage them. And because that really has helped us in marriage, and helped us leading up to marriage. Things like, Kingdom Sexuality is a organization or ministry. It's a whole ministry of 3 people, and they talk about literally all the things of sex and marriage, and, like, it's been really helpful,
it is really
it's like,
helpful.
why does no one talk about it? It's such a, like, don't talk about that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't really know why, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, we'll that'll be next episode. So tune in, and we'll really dive into that, and have discretion on that. Like, everybody's welcome, but, like, if that makes you uncomfortable, or if you feel like it's not helpful in this season, like, maybe skip that episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that was our honeymoon. We went to Cabo. It was so awesome. So relaxing. We were, debating between there and, like, Hawaii was our other one, but we felt like we wanted a honeymoon where we just sit and do nothing. And we felt like
that's exactly what
we did. And we felt like if we were in Hawaii, you got to do, like, Hawaii things, like, you got to go scale a volcano, and you got to, like, go do cool stuff. But we just wanted to sit on a beach, and that's exactly what we did. Like, for 6 days, we were so rested. We were tired of resting.
Yeah.
Like, it was awesome. We just ate and sat by the pool, and we just did a circle of like, get hot, get in the water, get hot, get in the water,
Yep.
sleep. Like, took 2 hour naps every day.
Every day. Yeah. Ate amazing food.
It was so.
You might want to think about that too. I've heard from a few people, like, think about what you want your honeymoon experience to be.
Yeah.
And we thought about it, and we wanted to do absolutely nothing. And it was awesome. And some people want to go and like see a new place. But I have heard some people, like, after the wedding, they're going to a honeymoon and they have all these excursions booked, and like they have this really jam-packed, like, fun, adventurous honeymoon, and that's like not what they want to do at all after a wedding. Like, we were exhausted. Once we actually got there, we were like, oh my gosh, I could sleep for 3 days straight. So really think about that when you're trying to pick out where to go.
And wear sunscreen if you go somewhere sunny. Wear sunscreen, because you don't want to get sunburned on the first day, which we did really good.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, she thought that was really funny. But I'm serious. Like, there's things
wear sunscreen if you're going somewhere sunny.
You would think that people would, but like, you're gonna go and try to get a tan and you're gonna get burnt, and then you can't do honeymoon things for the rest of your honeymoon.
Oh, that was really deep.
Well, you know.
I don't know why that was so funny.
Yeah, so no, our honeymoon was great. And it was super relaxing, and I know that's not an option for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not mandatory or anything. We were just really we in this whole process, we've been so blessed by people around us. Our family, our friends have given us amazing things, amazing, gifts. Like, if our parents are watching this, thank you for everything that you guys have done. Like,
yeah, we truly were super lucky.
Yeah.
In the family friend department. And I know that a huge, like, from most people I know, coordinating with family is like a really, really giant headache during wedding planning and the wedding. And we just like didn't have that. So yeah, we have literally the best parents, siblings. I have a sister now.
You have a sister.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. But yeah, we just have, we've talked about that before of like, we know that's not the case for everybody, but for us, that was a huge, just like amazing highlight of our wedding, and has been a highlight post-wedding of just like being surrounded by really, really great people.
So yeah, and then we got back from our honeymoon, and we've had 2 weeks of like normal life. How do you feel like we've been doing?
It's a good question. Honestly, I haven't really told you this yet.
You can't even keep it together. I didn't believe you for a second.
I tried so hard to be like, I don't like it or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's been really fun. We've had a lot of fun. We just have a lot of fun together. A lot of people know that about us. We can be doing something super mundane. This was the case like before we got married, and it's definitely the case after still. Yeah, we've just had a lot of fun, I would say. And yeah, it's been really cool just like getting used to like, new normal things that like feel new still, like, falling asleep together, waking up together, brushing our teeth together, cooking dinner together, like just being able to do all of those things, which is what we've always dreamed about doing together. So it's just cool that it's finally here, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's such a blessing, and I don't know. It's just been great. Like, it's so cool, and we're just in such a cool season of life, like where it's just you and I, and we are just completely fully focused on each other, and it's just really cool to like do life, do everything together. It's awesome to like come home from work and you're here
Mm-hmm.
and like cook dinner together and um yeah, it's just been really, really, really special. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just content. I just feel really content.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we, I think that one thing that people can experience, early in marriage of like, boom, all of a sudden you're like living in the same house, same room, same this, and you're together all the time. Kind of like a lot of like nagging. Like
Yeah.
we've seen that in, our friends, and we've seen that just like in a lot of new marriages, I would say.
Hmm.
And marriages in general.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
just kind of happens. Like you're spending a lot of time with one person, and you can just kind of get kind of like feisty with each other,
Yeah.
like over nothing, like can kind of just make a little spat out of nothing, I would say. But I don't know. I feel like, I'm not going to say that that won't happen someday.
Sure.
It probably will eventually.
And we'll tell you about it.
But I don't know. I just feel like we just have so much like respect for each other, and like there's just so much love between us, and so much like we're like just truly obsessed with each other. And so I don't know, like I just can't even get mad at you because you're so cute. It's like that. Like that's what I'm trying to say, you know? Like I don't know. I'm probably gonna look back at this someday and be like, oh my gosh.
You're so
Throwback.
naive. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel like I wanna just continue to be in like a sweet spot of like we respect each other so much. If something comes up, like we can communicate it. Like what did I say earlier today? Oh, I was like, the room we're sitting in right now, you had all your music stuff out everywhere, and this is where I do school from home. And I was like, honey, would you mind like when you're done with your music stuff, like putting it away so that when I come in here to do school, I don't have to like figure out where all your things go? You're like, yeah, of course. Sorry, I left it out. Like it was, I don't know. That could have been a moment of like, does it really matter? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
like little things like that. Like I don't know. We just haven't. And I don't know exactly why. Like, why do we not nag at each? Unless you think we do. Do you think we nag?
I don't really think so. No.
Yeah.
Like I think we have a mentality of trying to like outserve each other.
Yeah.
And so I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And I think also being intimate helps. I feel like we have more patience for each other. And yeah, I think it's been good. Like definitely an adjustment to try to figure out like how to do things with each other. But yeah, no, it's been really cool. I think the hardest thing for me has been sometimes like you come home or I come home and you just want to make dinner, like, and I'm like, I feel like I need to help you, and you're like, do you want to help me? And I was like, well, not really, but I feel like I should. And you're like, go sit down and watch TV, or like go
Yeah.
play Fortnite or something, like, because and if I want to help you, then you're like, yeah, like of course, but
Yeah.
me like trying to do
Like
everything,
feeling bad for not.
feeling bad, and you're like, no, I just want to serve you, like let me just make you dinner.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. Shoot, I was going to say something just now. Oh, one thing I was going to say of like going back to the conversation about just, possibility of like getting in the like kind of feisty, naggy kind of thing. Honestly, I think that a lot of that comes down to how gentle you are. Like I feel like
Oh, me?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I feel like your gentleness, how gentle you are, like blocks so many little tiny fights that could happen. You know what I mean? And not to say that I'm not gentle, but I think that the man kind of being like a brick wall when it comes to little things like that of like I'm just trying to communicate this little thing that if you did this little tiny thing it would help me a lot.
Yeah.
And you just like get that. But I think that if there's a lack of gentleness in the husband, it can be like a dude, why does that even matter? Like why would you bring that up? Like that just seems so stupid to me. Like it's not a big deal. Like that immediate pushback. So I think that that might, I don't know, just I was thinking about like, why don't we do that? And I think it is because you literally would do anything that not that I like order you around or anything like that, but I like without hesitation, I'll be like, will you go fill up my water bottle? And you're like, yes, ma'am. Like you just like do it, you know? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, there's just like such a gentleness about you that so many things that could blow up with other people don't, because you're just sweet. You're just a sweetheart.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think, as I was preparing for marriage, there was a verse that I thought about a lot, and I think it's 1 Peter 5:7, but I could be
That's
wrong.
cast all your anxieties.
Yeah, no, okay, then I think I don't know what it is.
Oh.
But anyways, I'm so bad. But it's husbands, be compassionate as you live with your wives, treating them with respect as the weaker partner. Because like that doesn't mean like they're, weaker, like they're weak, but just that like you are more sensitive than I am, and you are
No.
more you're a beautiful flower, gentle, beautiful flower. And but I'm serious, like I can be, compassionate, and guys, pick your fights, man. Like if your wife tells you to go pick up your underwear, dude, just do it. Like
Yeah.
like be a servant, be a leader, and just like, yeah, fill up your wife's Stanley. Like just do it, man. It's not that big of a deal. And yeah, so, and that's what we're called to do, right? That was one of my vows to you, was to put your desires and your needs above my own.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna do that. Like even with the small things, I think that's where it starts, is the small things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. They're just so cute.
Thanks.
I'm starting to feel silly, so I might need to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I think so that's we just wanted to fill you guys in on where we've been for the last 3 weeks. We're gonna get back on a regular schedule, and we started this podcast for marriage when we weren't married, and now we're married, and so like, let's go. Let's do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next time for a spicy topic. Spicy topic. And we love you guys. If you came to our wedding, thank you so much. If we didn't get to talk to you, I'm really, really sorry. There was a ton of people there. We did our best. I think we got to most people.
Yeah, I think we got to most.
But yeah, we love you guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.